Hello YouTubers. It's sorry. I've been talking all the day. I'm a teacher, so I talk a lot. It's today, Thursday, September 27th, and I have one more tiring day of work this week before it's the beloved weekend. And this weekend I will attend this. It says Stor skivmässa 2012, Skandinaviens största 600 meter skiddisk, lördag 29 september, Solnahallen. It's in Solna and it's a record fair in the arena Solnahallen, or the sports hall Solnahallen. 600 meters of records, different sellers from all over Sweden, and maybe some foreign from the rest of Scandinavia too. It's a fair that's arranged by Sanjay, and they arrange many record fairs, and in my view these are the best ones that they arrange. I haven't been to any of their fairs for a couple of years now. One reason is that one of the fairs they have is usually in the late February, and at that time I'm often on a trip up north, so I can't go to that one. But this one I plan to go to this Saturday, with my mind filled with lots of ideas. I've seen so many interesting records in the vinyl community, so I'm quite sure that my vinyl purchases there may be a bit influenced and inspired by the vinyl community. So I'm quite sure that I will make some sort of video about it as well. I don't know if I will be filming anything there, but I might. We'll see. But anyway, if I find something, and I'm sure I will. It's like going to these places with planted fish, and you stand there and you fish, and you always get something, and you end up with a rather empty wallet. But that's part of the fun. So I'll be here. And it's this Saturday. Okay. Why am I talking now? Well, I thought I'd show you some newly adopted records in my collection. Some of them I won on quite cheap auctions, and some others I found at the local charity shop a couple of days ago in central Stockholm. And I found some very good records, and I showed some in the Facebook YouTube video channel group as well. But first I'll show you, I got a parcel today with some different records that I bought on auctions, quite cheap. I didn't pay much for this, so well, let's start. We start with Diana Ross and the Supremes' Greatest Hits. This is a double album, and I'm sure you're very familiar with this. To be quite honest, I'm not really much of a Supremes fan. I'm not even much of a Motown fan. Well, I like Stevie Wonder and the things he did in the early 70s, but not really a Motown fan. I'm more of a Stax person. But still, they did quite a lot of good singles, 45s, this group, and I thought this is a quite famous compilation album of their best hits, and I thought, well, if I find it and it's not too expensive, I'll buy it. And said and done. Said and done. Said and done. Sagt ord. Well, anyway, been working very hard this week, so I'm a bit tired, so my English may be failing me a bit, but never mind. Well, I've started collecting, not really, but buying the albums of 10cc, especially the early ones. And on this auction I got these Bloody Tourists from 1978, I think, with of course including their great hit Dreadlock Holiday. I like the quirkiness of 10cc, although this may not be one of the best albums, but it's certainly one of the most best-selling albums, I think. Oh yeah, this is an album I've been looking out for a long time. It's Marianne Faithfull, Broken English from 1979 on Iceland. And on this album, the infamous last track, Why Ya Do It, is included. This is a British pressing too. And well, I read about this album some time ago, and I thought, well, this sounds very interesting. I hope to find it. And then we have this one, Willie Hutch, Concert in Blues on Motown from 1976. I haven't heard that much of Willie Hutch, but I thought this looked very interesting, so I bought it on a whim, more or less. I buy lots of cheap records on a whim. So I haven't listened to this yet, but it looks very interesting, and I might like this. There's even a big probability I will. Right, let's walk over to an artist that I'm well familiar with, being a 78 RPM collector. I enjoy finding records with this artist. It's Louis Jordan. This is an Italian compilation on Contact Records, a Milano label from 1986, but with recordings from between 1938 to 1942, so it's quite early stuff. Louis Jordan, well, today probably most known for the Saturday Night Fish Fry. Yeah, I think that's the name of it. That one isn't included here, but it's earlier stuff. Earlier and unissued on LPIC. Also on this album we have the tunes. Oh no, I see. We have included here even a discography of some sort of this year. I have to check this because there can't be that many songs on this album. Oh, this is the volume 1. So I guess the other issues in this series are also included on this sleeve. Okay, well, never mind. Louis Jordan, great artist to listen to. Very early rhythm and blues, rock and roll. And over to some other 78 RPM related music. Well, because this was original music issued in the 1930s. Is the German vocal group Comedianharmonists that I have recently, the last couple of years, started listening more and more to, since I'm very interested in the popular music of, well, European popular music from the 1920s and 1930s. And these Comedianharmonists were great stars in the late 1920s, early 1930s. And this is double album, German double album on EMI, on their special label Der Goldene Trichter. I was very happy to find this. I got a bunch of 78 RPMs with Comedianharmonists, but they are very sought after, so and not that easy to find all the time. So this was a nice find for almost nothing. Okay, some jazz then, recorded in the 1950s but issued in the 70s. Paul Horn and Paul Tagawa. Sessions live on the Calliope label in 1976, but the recordings are from the 1958. Looks like this. This Sessions live seem to have been a whole series of different albums, but I've never encountered this series before. Oh, and over to a real jazz classic that I, for some idiotic reason, haven't had before. I have the second version, or the follow-up to this one, the volume 2, but not the volume 1. Although I've had it recorded from record to cassette and from record to minidisc, and I've heard this album several times, but I haven't had it actually on vinyl. And it's Night Train by the Oscar Peterson Trio. And I'm a great fan of Oscar Peterson, really great fan. So it's been a bit weird not to have this, because this is, of course, his most famous album on Verve. This is probably 1970s pressing. It has the black label with silver print, so it's not an original, but I don't mind. Yeah, that was the auction albums. Now over to some nice findings that I did a couple of days ago at a charity shop in central Stockholm. First of all, I've showed this group in the Facebook, YouTube group. Chase, the first album of the group Chase, led by late trumpeter Bill Chase, and this is awesome jazz rock. And I'm so happy I found this for, well, less than $2. Less than $2. It's great finding, great finding. I listened to it yesterday twice, and it's a masterpiece. And I will definitely look for their other albums. And such a shame that their career was cut short due to a tragic airplane accident which killed the leader, Bill Chase, and some other members of the group. So this was great. It's a shame that they are not more famous than they are. Okay, over to a bit of a one-hit wonder, I think, but still quite good. On Island Records, it's Pete Wingfield. Breakfast Special from 1976. Well, maybe, yeah. 75. Cut out here, but record in great shape, and this is nice. Okay, over to some Swedish jazz choir music. We have, or Swedish. Well, you got the, well, it's American, Swedish, Finnish. No, not Finnish. Icelandic, because it's the American pianist Steve Dobrogos, who has been very active in Sweden for a long time. I saw him on Swedish television just a couple of, well, some months ago with a new project together with the singer Anna Kristoffersson. And this is the Steve Dobrogos Vocal Ensemble with the album The Child's Gift. And we have a choir singing, of course, and also Steve Dobrogos on piano and Tom Jonsson on bass, and the Icelandic drum icon Peter Island Östlund. I think he's from Iceland, but I don't know. It's not on Iceland, the label, it's on Proprius. Okay, what next? Well, this was a nice find. I had never heard of them before, and I didn't know what it was, if it was crap or what it was, but it's a... I showed you it in the Facebook group too. It's the Russian group Avia, and this is their first album, Zem. And Avia, well, A stands for anti, Via stands for the kind of popular music that was accepted in Soviet Russia, and this is very varied. It's lots of synthesizer, but some very good prog moments, some very good psychedelic moments, some very good folk music moments, and my Russian is more or less non-existing, but I've read about them, and they actually have quite interesting lyrics, often a bit ironic and so on, humoristic. But even if I don't understand, I can still enjoy this Melodia album with the group Avia. Oh yeah, I found a sampler, a quadradisc sampler from RCA that I found for nothing. We got David Clayton Thomas, Perry Como, Hugo Montenegro, the Guess Who, Philadelphia Orchestra conducted by Eugene Ormandy. We got music from Hair, we got Jefferson Airplane, we got Nilsson, Jerry Reed, Dolly Parton, Danny Davison, the Nashville Brass, and Charlie Pride. So it's a very varied sampler. And someday I may have a 4-channel stereo, and I will listen to this. Well, I can play it still. I can still play it on, but well, just an oddity, and I didn't pay anything for it. Yeah, that is a Banjo Galaxy, the classic banjo of William J. Ball, on Rounder Records. It's mainly for the label sake that I bought this, because I like the label Rounder. It's from 1975, and this is actually serious music for banjo, and it's a very nice issue. And as I said, Rounder is a label that's, when it comes to folk music, almost always interesting. Oh yeah, and then finally, Maria Moldar, this solo album from 1973, I think, on Reprise Records. Lovely sleeve, and the record is great, and songs are great, and the musicians are great. I mean, we have such great musicians as Mac Rebennack, also known as Dr. John, Jim Keltner, Clarence White, Ry Cooder, David Grisman. Lots of good musicians, and a very good album with a great singer, Maria Moldauer. Okay, well, that's it for now. Time to have an evening cup of tea before going to bed, and trying to upload this as well before that. And my next video will probably be related to the Solna Record Fair, Free Messa, on September 29th, on Saturday. I'll be there. Will you be?